It is now my great honor and pleasure to introduce this year's commencement speaker, Jeremy Gorman, Chief Business Officer at Snap Inc. Jeremy Gorman leads Snap's revenue and sales operations. This includes global sales, creative strategy, and Snap's creative studio for augmented reality. Gorman has spent her entire career in tech with leadership positions at Monster.com and Yahoo. Prior to joining Snap, she spent nearly 7 years at Amazon, where she led global enterprise advertising sales. Gorman serves on the board of Women for Women International, the board of directors for Samba TV, and on the Dean's Advisory Board for the UCLA Division of Social Sciences. A travel lover and thrill seeker, Gorman has traveled to over 50 countries with a goal to double that. And did I mention that Jeremy Gorman's journey began with a 1999 degree in sociology from UCLA? Not only that, but both of her parents, who are here in the audience today, are also UCLA sociology graduates. Isn't that amazing? And her older sister, also here today, has a BS and a master's from UCLA. Given that family background, it is perhaps not surprising that Gorman says her first words may have been the 8 clap, or that she married a Bruin. I can think of no one better than to address you all this morning than Jeremy Gorman. So with no further ado, esteemed guests, I present you our keynote speaker for today, Jeremy Gorman.
Thank you, Chairwoman. And I have learned this morning that for the first time ever, this Chairwoman, the Vice Chair, and the Speaker are all women. Very excited to be a part of that. And thank you, UCLA graduates, for carrying on this incredible tradition of UCLA sociology. Thank you for inviting me here for your special day and allowing me to enjoy this with you. I grew up going to Bruin Woods since 1985. You heard my UCLA lineage. You can tell that I'm standing here completely flooded with emotions. I graduated in 1999, which makes me exactly twice most of your age. But the good news is that my day job keeps me interacting with your resilient generation every single day. As mentioned, I'm Jeremy Gorman, and I am the Chief Business Officer of Snap Inc., the parent company of Snapchat, Bitmoji, and some other things with which you may be familiar but didn't know we own. And it sounds to me like you might have learned a little bit about us in this Sociology 111, so I don't need to go into any more of it. But what that means is that I get to interact with your generation all the time, and you are extraordinary, and you are resilient. Listening to everything that Alyssa just noted, it's hard to believe that you all got through that and are here today, but it's very exciting. UCLA changed my life. It probably changed many of your lives as well. I made my very best friends here. There are actually 15 of us who still travel together every single year for the last 22 years. Except for the last 2 years, we were very responsible. We did not do our traveling. And some of them are in the audience here today. Everybody up here has said, thank your support system, and I'm gonna re-echo that. It is critical to understand that accomplishments like this are on the backs and shoulders and heads and toes of everybody around you. So take a moment. Look at the person next to you, poke them in the ribs, wherever, catch your parents' eyes over there, and make sure that you say thank you. Yeah. I have to admit something. I don't remember my graduation speaker. I'm sure they were fantastic, but there was just a lot going on, and I didn't pay attention when I really wish that I had. But if I learned anything in Psych 10, and I know you all took it too, it's that the human brain can internalize only 7 plus or minus 2 chunks of information at once. So I'm gonna try to leave you with a couple of nuggets of things that you'll remember today. But I'm gonna skip the 7 part, and we're gonna go with plus or minus 3 chunks. I'm gonna tell you 2 stories, and then we're gonna talk a little bit about sociology. Most speeches start with something like quoting "Oh, the Places You'll Go" by Dr. Seuss, or UCLA's own Jim Morrison saying, "We want the world and we want it now," to inspire you to go out and kick some ass, which you should definitely do. But I'm not a do what most people do kind of gal, so that's why we're going with the stories. The first one I'm gonna call Missing Out, and the second one I'm gonna call The Hard Stuff. I know it's probably not the graduation speech that you expected, but it'll all come together in the end, I promise. I wonder if this thing comes off, hold on. Oh good, I can move this far, great. All right, so here's the first story. It's called Missing Out. I played a lot of soccer growing up, a lot. Not like AYSO run around in bunches kind of soccer, but competitive soccer. So much so that when I was in 5th grade, 10 years old, I did a slide tackle and heard the most disgusting sound you will ever hear in your life. Crack, 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 crack. And so much pain. I had broken my leg in multiple places. So I got a cast, but not one of those like cute little pink ones, you know, that everybody signs and you're adorable and everybody feels badly for you, like a full on up to here kind of cast. And I was 10, and I couldn't go to recess, I couldn't play soccer anymore, I couldn't go out with my friends, and I was devastated. It felt like everything that I'd ever wanted was taken away from me in just that minute. So my teacher, Mrs. Hughes, had a really good idea of rotating all of my friends into the lunchtime to spend with me so that I wasn't bored. And it was awesome. I had so much fun. When you're 10 years old, you get the opportunity to just sit with one friend for 30 minutes and get to know them deeply. But then one day, Mrs. Hughes changed her mind. She flipped the script on me a little bit. She told me that she has changed her mind and she's gonna have one person come and sit with me every single day. A girl named Hope. I know you think I probably made that up, but I didn't. It was really her name. And I wasn't friends with Hope. I didn't really love this plan. I kind of just thought, you know, hey, why don't maybe I'll just read a book and she can go play with her friends. But one of the things I didn't know was that at that time, Hope didn't have any friends. And even worse, she was being bullied on the playground. So what Mrs. Hughes did when I was missing out and brought people in for me, she turned it around to make sure that she could actually help Hope by bringing her into a safe area. So why am I telling you this? I think there's something about that, even when you're 10, a lesson that you can take with you forever, which is you are feeling like you're missing out. I'm sure you are. I look at this beautiful class here and think, I'm sure you sat there and thought, Zoom school, no parties, where's the football games? I would also like to ask, where's the football team, by the way? When I was here, we were awesome. But basketball is great. And probably felt like you were missing out on all of these amazing things. But what I learned in 5th grade is what I know you will take away from this period. You got to spend more time with your parents, and I promise you, that is incredibly precious. You got to do school from anywhere. Nobody does that. And most of you probably had access to great computers, internet, tools and systems that allowed you to come to finish this university when a lot of people don't get to go to college at all. And I promise you, we're the lucky ones. The next story I'm going to tell you is called The Hard Stuff. Okay, picture me at 15 and a half years old. It is the mid-90s, so it's basically the same as whatever you guys are wearing right now. So thank you so much for bringing back mom jeans in the center part. Really needed that back in my life. So I'm 15 and a half years old, and like many people, my dad taught me how to drive. Yes, my dad that you just heard about, sitting right over there, UCLA Sociology, class of 1969. Woo! Seated next to my mom, UCLA Sociology, class of 1968. Next to my sister with a class of 99 undergraduate and 01 with a master's, and my husband who got a classical civilizations major and in the class of 2000, along with a lot of my other wonderful friends and family. You can give my Bruin family a round of applause. That's deep. Okay, so back to the driving story. My dad taught me how to drive on a stick shift. Many of you probably have never seen a stick shift, but it's complicated. Your hand and your leg have to coordinate at the same time. If you do it wrong, there's terrible noises. It's very difficult. And he taught me how to drive in a parking lot where I couldn't hit anything and I couldn't hurt anybody. And so we were practicing in a parking lot, and my dad said, you know what, I think you're ready. I think you can take this car on the road. And I was like, wait, what, me? Take the car on the road? Are you kidding me? This thing's impossible. But he said, you can do this, just like the parking lot, I promise. You've got this, kiddo. And I inched onto PCH, which where I'm from in the OC is like the Audubon. There's like 5 lanes going in every single direction. And this was successful for 10 seconds. And then I stalled in the middle of PCH. And it was so stressful. I was totally freaking out. And like a lot of things that get better with time, stalling in the middle of PCH does not get better with time. It only gets worse. More honking, more yelling, more finger gestures as people were going past us. And I looked at my dad and I begged him, you do it, you do it, you do it. And he's like, I'm not getting out of the car on PCH to come help you do this. And I was like, he said, you know, breathe, remember what you did in the parking lot, and you've got this, kiddo. So I took 3 deep breaths, or probably like 20 really, really rapid breaths, and I inched the car into the neighborhood. When we got in the neighborhood, my dad started laughing and said, you know, I totally could have gotten out and helped you. So I shot him this look of death, and basically he was like, what, you could have helped me? And he said, yeah, but what good would that have done? You needed to know that you could do it. So why am I telling you this? Because this, UCLA, university, this is the parking lot. This is the safe space. This is where you learned all of the hard stuff. You've heard it here today twice already, and I'm gonna say it again. You did not have to choose to go to the #1 public school in the country, but you did. You already chose the hard stuff. So remember that, because at work, in life, the people who are most memorable, the people who get ahead, the people who are happy and the most fulfilled, those are people who choose the hard stuff. Like you guys sitting in the sun and us sitting in the shade, for instance. You're doing the hard stuff. So those are the 2 stories, and now I want to talk just a little bit about sociology, and it does look hot, so I will speed this up. But this brings me to you and sociology. For years, I wondered why I got a sociology degree. I didn't really know one way or the other what I was going to be, but I knew I loved the classes. So I was a sociology major, and I heard all the same things you probably did, from your parents, from potential bosses, from whoever it is, to say, you know, what is it you're gonna do with a sociology degree? Are you gonna be a sociologist? Don't you know there's money to be made in those computers? But I was a sociology major, and it changed my life. Sorry, this cap is, 22 years old, so hang tight. But it changed my life. There's no major I would rather be, and here's why. Because no matter what you do, no matter where you go, the most important thing are humans. Bosses are humans, teammates are humans, clients are humans, friends are humans, and no matter where you go, you will have the foundation to look inside of yourselves, to understand those human dynamics. I've spent my entire career in tech, as you just heard, and everybody always says, how did you get into tech? And the truth of the matter is, in 1999, I knew how to use a computer, and that was my one accolade, so I got into tech. But the cool thing is I spent 22 years working with teams and helping, I don't design the products, other people do, but some input into designing products that are additive to the human experience. Interesting fact about Snapchat, actually, is that the 6th person ever hired at Snapchat is a sociologist, which is awesome. So the founders were so committed to adding to the human experience, to not adding pressure metrics like public follower counts or likes, that they hired a sociologist when they had no money, working from their dad's dining room table. And these are the lessons that you will all take with you as well. Know humans, be introspective, look inside. Whenever you are faced with feeling like you're missing out, and you will again, because there are many, many future hypothetical broken legs to come in your life, remember to look outward, not just inward, and understand the things that you still have. In addition, when you have to choose one path, choose the hard path, because how much easier will the automatic version of your hard path be at the end of that? And lastly, remember that at the center of everything, all of you, all of your family, all of your friends, and everybody with whom you will ever work, and everybody you will ever inspire is a human, and you just spent 4 years learning all about humans. This will inspire you to be amazing. I just know you will be. And we now need to do something very important, especially even though it's hot. It would be my honor and pleasure to lead you in your last 8 clap of your UCLA undergraduate career, so get up. And I'm putting you all on Snapchat. Hold on. This is definitely happening. All right, ready? Okay. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, U. C. L. A. UCLA, fight, fight, fight. Thank you for doing the clean version. My parents are here. You are all amazing, and go take on the world.